Now to the story that moved the markets late in the session. We got more details on the Pfizer COVID vaccine rollout. Let's get to Meg Terrell, who's got all the details. Meg.
Hey, Melissa. Well, so this Wall Street Journal story crossed with a headline saying that Pfizer slashed its COVID-19 vaccine rollout target after facing supply chain obstacles. What the headline left out is that Pfizer had made that change in November. And so all of the numbers in terms of Pfizer's expectations for supply of its vaccine this year are the same as we have been talking about for the last month. So in September, they'd been guiding to 100 million doses being available of their vaccine in 2020 and 1.3 billion in 2021. In November, when they reported that 90% efficacy in the interim look at their phase 3 clinical trial, they also noted that now they're looking at 50 million doses available in 2020. So that was cut in half, but it wasn't cut in half today. It was cut in half at least a month ago. Now, Pfizer telling us today there are several factors that impacted the number of doses estimated to be available in 2020, including the fact that scaling up a vaccine at this pace is unprecedented, and the scale up of raw material supply, the supply chain, took longer than they expected. They also noted that their clinical trial outcome for the phase 3 was later than the initial projection, making them have to focus additional efforts on the clinical trial production. They told us, quote, modifications to our full-scale production lines in the U.S. and Europe are now complete, and finished doses are being made at a rapid pace. They say we are confident in our ability to supply at a pace of approximately 1.3 billion doses by the end of 2021. And I also confirmed the 50 million is still the projection for 2020. Additionally, I talked with Moncef Slaoui, the chief advisor to Operation Warp Speed, who told me, quote, there is no change to their commitments to the U.S. and I haven't been informed of any issues. So, Melissa, this really is sort of an explainer on a change that Pfizer made between September and November. As for all of the expectations we're expecting for Pfizer's supply right now, there is no change. Mel?
All right. Thank you, Meg, for all that reporting. Meg Terrell, who's on top of this. Meg not only threw cold water on this story, but threw ice cubes, blocks of ice all over this. And yet we saw the stock move. We saw the markets move. It felt like algo's taking over on this negative headline, Dan. I don't know. What did you make of this?
Well, here's the thing. There's headlines hitting the tape right now that Moderna is going to have between 100 and I think 125 million doses in Q1 of their vaccine. So it's all good news. You'd much rather have them under promise and over deliver. I'll just mention this when we talk about deliver and the logistics that are going into this vaccine being just kind of sent out all over the world, but specifically our country. We know that the government is doing it. We know the Army is doing it. I grew up in a household. My dad was a retired, lieutenant colonel in the Army. We had a saying in our household, close enough for government work. I think that, and that wasn't, being too glib in a way. The point is that we have the biggest challenges in front of us right now about distributing this vaccine here in the U.S., getting to herd immunity, and I would suspect it's going to take a lot longer than people think. I don't think it's going to be the sort of thing that we're still going to be talking about this a year from now, but I think if your expectation is that we're going to hit herd immunity at some time in Q2, I think that is probably a bit aggressive.
Just to clarify on the Moderna headlines, they are reaffirming expectations of 20 million. So along the lines of Pfizer, this isn't necessarily new news. What was interesting, though, Steve, just quickly, is that Moderna shares did move up sharply on the back of that Pfizer headline, which now turns out to be nothing new.
Yeah, they moved up about 5.5% off of that headline today. And what, to Dan's point, when you saw the market and you had mentioned algos, the market is extremely skittish on any vaccine news or any vaccine hurdle that they're not going to cross over. So the market has gotten, once again, ahead of itself. And I think look for any negative news, and you're going to get some involved in the transportation of this vaccine. And that's when you're going to get the opportunity. But you have to be fast in this marketplace to take advantage of those dips that we saw today. Maybe you're going to get an extended one going forward.
All right.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.